For the second week in a row, I am speechless on my race review. I literally can. Hi everyone, it's Keira and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. So we have just watched a Mugello madness. Honestly, I've never seen a race like that. It wasn't even like, oh, it was a little bit messy, or oh, you know, it's a different winner like last week. Like, it was just mental. Like, I don't even know what was going on. It was crazy. I thought I was still watching the Formula 2. But anyway, welcome to my tail end race review for the Tuscan Grand Prix. And today I'm just going to be, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing. Yet again, another week where I don't really know what I'm going to be saying. Just madness. It's absolutely madness. Before we get into this video, if you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe to me down below. But yeah, first I think we should just talk about the lap 1, turn 2 incident. Now I've been sitting here recently thinking there hasn't been that many first lap incidents for a while. You know, you normally see it in Formula 2, Formula 3, but we used to see it more in Formula 1 than we do now. And then today came and that's exactly what we got. So going up to turn 2, we had the camera angle on like Bottas, Hamilton out front, whatever, and then you just see an AlphaTauri go off and Max Verstappen, and it's like, I don't know what's going on here. But judging from the onboards, I would say it was really difficult to put a pinpoint on it. You know, I was like, oh, who's done this? But actually, you couldn't put the blame on anybody. Like when I saw it from Pierre Gasly's perspective, the like three-way sandwich, I was like, oh, that's definitely Kimi, he's moved over. But then when you look on Kimi's onboard, it didn't look like he moved over, so it's so difficult to like, I don't think there's anybody you could blame, and obviously the stewards thought that as well. But yeah, it looked like Kimi moved over, but then on Kimi's onboard it did not look like he moved over at all, and then it was just very unfortunate that Max Verstappen got clipped up in that as well. It was unfortunate, but it wasn't, because I was, you know, sitting here thinking we're going to have another Mercedes and Max on the podium, and I just wasn't there for that. So in a way I was like kind of glad he's out, but you don't really want any, you know, you don't wish retirement or crashes on any driver, but it was a little bit like, oh, maybe we'll have somebody else in P3, which we eventually did. So next I'm going to talk about the safety car restart. This restart reminded me of 2019 Formula 2 Baku race. I don't know whether it was I want to say it was a sprint race. I can't remember which one, but if you do watch Formula 2 and you remember it was Baku, they were about to restart the race, and I remember Sergio Sette being involved. They crashed before the start and created this madness before the restart had even happened, and that is literally exactly what happened today. I was thinking, right, restart, let's go again, lovely. Valtteri Bottas is, you know, creating a nice wave, and you just see this massive crash in the back. I'm thinking, oh my god, heck, how have you done that? And initially I thought it was Kevin Magnussen's fault. I really did, because I think a lot of the onboards you just see Kevin literally stopped, but then I don't really think it was Kevin's fault, because then from Kevin's onboard, it's one of those where it's just everyone is everywhere. But in a way, I don't really know. I want to say Kevin. I don't really know why he slowed up that much, because there was a gap between like that gaggle and then the top gaggle. So I think I guess he was trying to make more of a gap. I don't really know what he was doing, but there was a bit of a gap where he could have kind of, you know, accelerated and kind of kept up to speed. But that was a very big accident. That was very unfortunate. I did not expect that. I don't think any of us expected that, to actually just have this crash in the middle. We hadn't even got to the start-finish line where you could overtake, and half of them were already in the wall. It did look really scary from Carlos Sainz as well, because he didn't take his hands off the wheel. It just happened so quickly, especially when you kind of, not that you expect a crash, but when you just don't expect, you expect people to accelerate, and he was just expected to go, and he kept his hands on the wheel, and you could kind of instantly tell he was kind of on the wheel like this, like, oh, I don't know if I should have like kept my hands on, but he did. And yeah, luckily I think he is okay. He said his wrist was okay. We did see him like kind of walking around holding it, but that was very scary, and that took out Carlos Sainz, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nicholas Latifi and Kevin Magnussen. So obviously that was the first red flag, and then when we got starting again, it's so weird to see 2 standing starts in a row, like last week and this week. It's not normal. You do not normally see it. And off the line, Charles Leclerc fell back a lot, and Ricciardo moved up a lot. It was really good to see. I loved seeing Ricciardo up there in P3. It got to the point where it was Alex and Daniel, and I was like, I don't really know which one of you I want to get this P3. Like, can something happen to Valtteri so then you can drop down so both of these people can be on the podium? But it wasn't to be, and it was eventually Alex. So I'm not really going to talk about the Lance Stroll incident, because it was just a big incident, and I don't really have much else to say about it. He had a kart failure. Very unfortunate for Lance, because he was driving very well. I'm going to talk about George Russell because he had a very up and down day. First, it was like lap 4 and he was P11 and I was like, right, don't get ahead of yourself, Keira, but this could be a George Russell point score finally today. And then he started running like P9. He was ahead of the Ferraris, I think. And I'm thinking, this is going well. But then the final safety car restart, he just got so bogged down and he just didn't move and he got straight to the back. And that was one thing I was worried about with the start, was the fact that, you know, he could easily, because of the, not because of him exactly, but maybe because of the car, you know, he just doesn't quite get the power off his grid position, and he didn't. And I think, where did he even finish? Like did he finish P11? But I just want George Russell to get some points. I don't know how that man is so unlucky when he is so fast. Like, he needs points already. He should have had points last year. But eventually, Alex Albon done an amazing overtake on Daniel Ricciardo and came P3. And wow, that is so overdue, that podium for Alex. Can we just appreciate how well Alex done today? He thought he was the only Red Bull out there, which I guess it was kind of a good thing because, you know, Max didn't take away anything, because I reckon if Alex got third, Max would come second, or, you know, he's always one step ahead. So it was nice for Alex to have a little bit of, you know, his own shine and to have a little bit more spotlight on him, and he just deserves it. He should have had this a long while ago. Obviously, we know Hamilton liked to, you know, take him out a couple of times and take that third place away from him, but today Hamilton didn't, and Alex Albon got his maiden podium in Formula 1. Also, a shout out to Daniel Ricciardo, who was very, very close to that P3. Cyril nearly got his tattoo. I just want to see Cyril get a tattoo, but I think it would be awkward if he got a tattoo, because, not being funny with you, I thought, you know, I mean, they do get on, but like Daniel was like meant to say Renault and now he's moving on, and it's a little bit like, do you really want a tattoo or do you not? Like, so predictions time now. Every week I give my predictions for the next Grand Prix, and I will read you out my predictions from what I made last week for this race. So last week for qualifying, I predicted it would be Valtteri Bottas on pole position with Lewis Hamilton in P2 and Max Verstappen in P3. But the Mercedes were actually the other way around, and it was Lewis Hamilton in P1, Valtteri Bottas in P2 and Max Verstappen in P3. But, you know, they are kind of the solid 3 for qualifying. Like, it's just which Mercedes goes which way around. For the race, I said Lewis Hamilton in P1, Max Verstappen in P2 and Alex Albon in P3, and I got the Alex bit right, finally. It was actually Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas and Alex Albon, with Max Verstappen retiring, but I did get the Alex Albon bit right, and I'm very happy about that. For fastest lap, I said Lewis Hamilton. It was Lewis Hamilton. And to retire, I said Esteban Ocon, and I mean, Esteban did retire, but so did half of the grid. But he wasn't the first one to retire, but he did retire, so I'm taking it. Now, the next race is Sochi in a couple of weeks' time. We have got the 24-hour Le Mans next week, which I'm really excited for, but we have got Sochi in 2 weeks' time. Now, Sochi, we know, is pretty much a really good place for Valtteri Bottas. So that's why for my qualifying prediction, I have said Valtteri Bottas in P1, Hamilton in P2 and Checo Perez in P3. I just feel like that Mercedes 2.0/2019 Mercedes is going to go really fast around Sochi, and I just feel like he is going to be up there and he could easily get third. For the race, I've said Valtteri Bottas to win because he's just so strong around Sochi again. Hamilton in P2 and Max Verstappen in P3. He always gets the edge. Max Verstappen, he's always up there. So I just have a feeling he's going to get it. For fastest lap, I've said Lance Stroll because he's got that Mercedes 2.0 car and it goes really well. Or we know last year it went really well around Sochi, so I don't believe it's going to be any different this year. And to retire first, I've said Kimi Raikkonen. Not sure why, just have a feeling. But there we have it. That is it for my tail end race review for the Tuscan Grand Prix. Again, what an enjoyable race that was. It was absolutely incredible. There was so much going on. I was actually really tired today. So I was sitting there thinking, I don't know how to feel. I'm so tired, but at the same time, I'm so excited about this race. It was amazing. Formula 1 is really creating us a lot of entertainment recently, and we are so thankful for it. This 2020 season is literally becoming my favourite season so far. Even though Lewis Hamilton is winning every race, it's still amazing. So yeah, thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you again soon for a brand new video. Goodbye.